Hey, and welcome to Nick Breaks Stuff. Today we're working on the 76 Nova. Alright, so to kick us off today, I'd originally been working on this car because I was having transmission leaks. I thought it was originally the pan and the pan seal, but after replacing it, I walked out to what looked like a bloodbath. You can kind of see some of the remains here still on the floor. Just a huge trail of ATF pouring out from underneath here. And if you look, this pan was bone dry when I put it underneath the car. So, as you can see there's the new pan, completely soaked. But if you look further up, you can see the ATF is coming from the front seal. So, this transmission's gonna have to come out. But before we get to that, we're gonna work on some other driveline fixes first. Okay, so since the axle is having to come out to drop the transmission, you can see here too that the rear diff is also pretty leaky. I mean, you can see some diff oil on the ground there. So the rear pinion seal needs to be fixed. So we're gonna pull the pinion out and we're gonna replace the seal today. Also, while we have the drive shaft out, we're gonna replace the U-joints. All right, so what we have here, I got my trusty Ryobi 1/2-inch impact gun, which if you haven't tried out these electric impact guns, they are amazing. Then we got our 1/2-inch impact socket there. Let's go ahead and try to get this pinion nut out. There we go. All right, now I'm not so sure how badly this is going to leak once I pull this pinion out, so just to be on the safe side, I'm going to go ahead and put a drain pan under here. All right, let's get this out. There it is. So this right here is our culprit. You can see it is nice and wet. So let's see if we can get a screwdriver or something in there and get this pulled out. All right, got my trusty Stanley screwdriver here. Let's see if we can get in here and pry this out. That's not working. Let's try something else. Okay, sorry for the delay there. That took a considerable more amount of convincing to get this thing out than I thought it was going to. As you can see, I kind of had to bash it completely in order to get a pair of vice grips on it to yank it out. But it's out. So let's take a minute to pay respects to this life service the seal provided. Alright, we're done with that. So what we have here is a Timken replacement seal. Timken's pretty well known. They make pretty good stuff. Did the axle bearings in them. Seemed to work pretty well. There's the part number. Anyways, let's get back under there and get the seal on. Okay, so now before you put the seal back in, you want to make sure to put a little bit of grease around the seal here. That way, just make sure when you're putting the pinion in and whatnot, it doesn't gall it up. So let's go ahead and get that re-lubricated. I'm just going to steal some of this diff oil that's leaking out here. Now normally you want to have some sort of tool here to help put the seal in, but I don't have one. So we're just gonna try a few love taps from the hammer here. And all right, looks like I'm gonna have some trouble with that top part. Let's see if we can figure something out for that. Okay, so what I have here is part of a cup from a ball joint press. It's not perfect, but I think that'll give me some leverage to get around this little guy right here. Let's give this a shot. All right. All right, looks like we're fully seated around. Let's get a rag really quick, clean this up a little bit, and then we'll put the pinion back in. All right, we have our pinion. Get onto the splines there. All right, and then we just need to go get the torque wrench and torque it to spec. Okay, so this pinion nut really doesn't take a whole lot of torque to tighten down. It's really just 12 foot-pounds. This is used anyways. If you're putting a new crush washer in here, it'd be, I think, somewhere more like 30 foot-pounds, but it's used. It doesn't need a whole lot. All right, I probably could have done a better job of tightening this down by hand first. All right, there we go. New pinion shield installed. So hopefully this rear end will stop leaking. All right, while we're at it, we're gonna hose this down for some fun. Oh yeah, look at that. Gross. Years and years and years of leaky, caked on gear oil. All right, let's go grab some gear oil and make sure she's topped off. So if you haven't checked your diff oil before, it's actually pretty easy. I went ahead and took the passenger side rear tire off. You don't actually need to do this, but it just makes for easier access. But once you have that off, if you come here and you take a look at the side of the diff, you should see that bolt right there. It's actually pretty easy. You just need a 3/8 inch drive ratchet with an extension. No actual socket. Well, maybe.
There we go. Stick it in there. All right. So that's just the plug for the diff. And then this is where you fill it up from. Pretty simple. So we'll get our gear oil and get to filling. Now I've got the dual exhaust here, so that's kind of making it a little trickier, but cram that in there. We can try coming from this angle. Looks like we're about full, but do the finger test just to check. Yeah, okay, we're about full. So you can tell you're full, basically. See if I can get in here on this. Basically, you just keep filling that hole until it starts pouring out. Once it starts pouring out, then you know you're good. We'll just take our ratchet here, tighten the plug up. And it doesn't have to be super tight, just good enough. And there you go. Can of brake clean again and just close down any access there. All right, and we are done with the rear diff. So here we have the drive shaft out of the Nova. You can see it's a little old, a little crusty. And these U-joints, well, I don't really know what kind of shape they're in. They might be factory, they may have been replaced at some point, I don't really know. But I got these new Moog joints for $7 each. So $14 total to replace these U-joints, and it's well, it's just good insurance. So this, however, is my first time doing this, so we're about to figure this out together. I have seen where some people use these ball joint presses to help push these U-joints out, so we're gonna give that a shot today. Well, let's just dive in and see if we can get this thing torn apart. All right, so first, we have these spring clips in here. I'm gonna try using these vice grips to see if I can get them out using that. And see if I can do all of this one-handed. Yeah, well, that just completely crumbled. All right, we still have this one section in here. All right, we're gonna have to dig that one out. Okay, so I just used a screwdriver to kind of pop this up a little bit, kind of break it free, see if we can get it out now. There it goes. All right. Crusty. All right, 3 more to go. All right, I might need both hands for this, so we'll come back once I get these clips out of here. Okay, so we got the other 3 clips out. That actually came out a lot easier than that first one, and actually this time came out intact. But the new kit comes with new ones, so we're not going to worry about that. Okay, so what I've seen is we need to take this guy, crank this in. That'll push the bearing sideways, or sorry, the U-joint. Push that sideways. It'll push the cap out. And then something. Magic. We'll figure it out. See you in a minute. Okay. So after a little trial and error, we finally got the U-joint pulled out of this side. You can see the old bearings here. A little grody, but anyways, so what we wound up having to do, this did work, however, you can't just push it the one way. So when you load it up on here, you know, kind of like that. So it goes something like that. You'll push the bearing, or sorry, the U-joint completely one direction. And once you have it loaded as far as the one direction will go, you'll have to push the other cap back into the sleeve here. That way you get enough play. Once you get enough play, you should then be able to wiggle this joint out. Once you have this joint out, you should then be able to take your screwdriver and a hammer and just knock the bearing caps out, or you could use the ball joint press to finish pushing them out. Either way, that's how we got them out of here. Now we gotta do it 1 and 2 more times before we can get the new U-joints in. Let's get back to work. All right, we did it. We got the drive shaft completely disassembled. Now it's time to put in the new U-joints. Let's get started. Okay, so reinstallation is actually pretty simple. You just pop your caps off, slide your U-joint in here, put your caps on either side, and then take your ball joint press, spin it the other way, and just push the cap back in until it's seated. There's a little groove right there. That's what the clip sits in, so you just need to seat it past that groove so the clip can get in. Once you get the clip in, you should be good to go. Okay, so a little bit of an update here. The U-joints that I got, one of the caps decided to explode as I was cranking everything down. So, had to go to AutoZone and get these Duralast joints. We'll see how good they are. Upside is getting lunch. So, you know, there's that. Alright, update. Front yoke is reassembled. See, new U-joint is in there. These Duralast ones are actually pretty good quality. They feel a lot more solid than those Moog ones did, so we'll see how they hold up. Well, looks like I'm gonna have to call it here. Hit a snag. I don't know how well you can see this in the video or not, but basically the way these yokes work is there's a groove right in here where a clip sits, and that's what holds the bearing in here. Well, as I was trying to work with this one, the metal right here just chipped and picked away, and now there's not enough in here for the clips to grab onto, so whenever you put the bearing in here, the clip just pops right out, which means that this whole piece probably gonna have to get chopped off and a whole new one of these yokes put on here. That being the case, I'm not a welder, I don't have a welder. This whole thing probably have to get balanced afterwards anyways, so I'm just gonna call it here and take this up to a driveline shop and let them fix it and deal with it from there. All right, so we had some wins and losses today. I had to take the drive shaft to the shop. They're gonna have to cut off the end, put a new one on, rebalance it, put a new bearing on there and everything. So you win some, you lose some. The bearing, the pinion seal repair worked though. The diff is now bone dry, not a single leak, not a drop coming out of that thing now, so no more diff oil on the garage floor. It's gonna stay in there, it's gonna stay nice and dry. So that's it for today, and we'll catch you next time.